So before I get started, I want to thank you guys so much for the support on the last video, as well as just on the tool in general. It's always been my dream to have like a software that's just used by a large user base, and being able to maintain it for them and just create something that I would use that other people can also use as well. So I'm happy that I was able to do that. With this update, Mac support is available. So if you go to the website Amverge.app, you can download Mac here, and it's going to download a .dmg file. If you do get a warning error, just know that that's normal. It means that my app isn't licensed. So just skip that and run anyway, and then you should have the app installed. There may be a lot of issues with the Mac release, so expect a lot of patches as of release in this video. So the first thing that I want to show off is the UI. So you can notice a lot of things. First of all, it's a lot more compact. So you can see that over here, instead of it being like text saying home or settings, it's all, icons now. And we have obviously 1920 x 1080 grid previews instead of it being square. Over in appearances section, you can see that it has a lot more options. So you can have, this is the same, so we can change the color of it. But when you upload an image or like a background, it's going to open up this transform overlay where you can change how you want the background to appear on the app. So you can change the aspect ratio, you can manually resize it, you can rotate it, flip it, whatever you want. You can zoom it in. Once you apply it, it's going to take a little bit to add the changes. And then once it adds the changes, you can adjust even more settings. You can adjust the background opacity, the background blur. This is different, but yeah, I usually like to have it just a little bit blurred so it's not too distracting. Maybe a little bit of opacity if you want to have the gradient, come over it a little bit, like maybe like this or something, right? So this is how I usually keep my background. You can also add video backgrounds. So this is an old edit that I made. I think that this is probably my favorite feature of the new update, just because like it's so damn cool. I mean, having animated backgrounds is like awesome. Who doesn't want that? So yeah, I think this is a really cool feature. You can also change the grid preview speed, so how fast you want the preview to be. So you can see like it's way faster for this one. This really helps for false merges. Like it helps you to see how much content is in a single clip in case it doesn't cut it correctly. Like over here I can tell like, yeah, this is this should have been cut here, but it wasn't. So now that it's sped up, I can really see faster like how much clips are actually in this single clip cell. You can also slow it down. So if you really want to, skim through everything, you can just slow it down and, kind of slowly see what the content is in each clip. Another thing is the download button. So if I click show download button, I can hover over the clips and it's going to have a single download button. So this is useful if you do want to just download one single clip or maybe two clips from an entire episode. You can just quickly download it instead of having to export it all over again. And it's going to use the same settings as whatever profile you have selected here, which is, I'm going to get into that a little bit later. Another really useful feature is the clip timestamps. So you can enable this or disable this as well in the appearances section. And if you have it enabled, it's going to show in the clip when it starts and where it is in the episode, which is super useful for just skimming through the entire show to see like maybe where a specific scene is. And you can also toggle the widescreen clip tiles. So if I toggle it off, it's going to go back to the default square that I was before. But if I have it toggled on, I can now see it all in the original aspect ratio. Now we're getting to the export settings. So this is obviously the most requested feature, and honestly, it's probably something that should have came with the release. I should have implemented this way before. But yeah, we have exporting features now. So the way that you do it is you can either go into settings and go into export settings, or you can go into the export settings here and click the pencil icon, and it's also going to take you to the same page. So when you create, the way it works is in profiles. So I can select different profiles and kind of customize them and rename them however I want. So I can select also a profile icon for it. I can select one of these ones that are already available, or I can just upload my own icon, which it also accepts animate the icons in this one as well, like GIFs and things like that. So that's super cool. Well, right now I'm not sure why this one doesn't work, but that's gonna be fixed, don't worry. And over here I can also select whether I want to re-encode it or whether I want to just stream copy it. When you re-encode, it gives you lots of options for the codec. In all honesty, I'm not too familiar or too knowledgeable about different codecs, different export settings, this is something that another developer implemented. So I have tested all of these settings, so they do all work. But if anyone is more knowledgeable about codecs and notices that something is not working, just let me know, because honestly, I'm not very knowledgeable on this type of stuff. So yeah. Another really cool feature is that the open file location after export is toggled on by default. This is very useful because now you don't have to actually open up your file explorer and then go looking for whatever clip you exported. It's just gonna instantly export it and then show you where it got exported to. So you can see now it showed me like exactly, hey, it's right over here. You can just drag and drop it into your After Effects, so it's much easier to work with now. There's also an audio playback cover, so you can have this enabled if you want to just, you know, hear the audio as you you know, skim through it, maybe for sound effects or something. Me personally, I don't see myself using this because I don't like hearing the audio, but it's up to you. Another feature that was also highly requested for obvious reasons is the ability to change where your clips are stored. So over here I have it in storage 1 currently, and I can place it down in storage 2, and still all the clips are loading just fine. Everything is a seamless transition, and everything should now be in storage 2 now. So we can see storage 2 is there and storage 1 is empty. And the last thing in the settings is the Discord rich presence, so you can show off to everyone that you're using Amverge. Now we're going to go to the more smaller stuff, the things that mostly help me. So over here we have a console, so it shows basically all the error messages. I think I should probably remove this log here, but yeah, it shows everything that I would need to know from users, from you guys, if anything goes wrong. And you can also report a bug, so you can just fill out this form. Most of these are just optional. When you submit an issue, it's going to send it to like this dashboard that I have, where I can look at all the bug reports. It might not work sometimes. If this doesn't work for some reason and it doesn't submit the report, you can just join the Discord and then message me or type in general chat or bug report what the issue is, and I can address it. One issue that a lot of people had, and this is completely expected, is that some videos are very buggy and it's gonna have a lot of false cuts. So I have this Demon Slayer movie, and for some reason it has 3,168 scenes, which is a lot of cuts for a movie. Like usually they only have 1,000 cuts, whereas episodes have around 300 to 400 cuts. And the fact that it's a lot of cuts means that I'm saying cuts a lot, but it means that it's very buggy, so there's a lot of false positives. So even you can see here in the thumbnails, like there's a lot of similar scenes, and this was a major issue where, you know, you just scroll down and you're seeing the same scenes each time, and it's annoying too because when it's processing, it just takes a long time to process all these clips. But now what it does is it kind of merges them together. I'm going to show you the result after it completely finishes processing. So now that it's finished processing, I've selected all the episodes, so you can see that there is, despite it cutting 2,168 times, it only has a little over 1,000 clips displaying. And the reason is because with this update, there's a new merging algorithm where after it finishes importing all the clips, it's gonna iterate through every single thumbnail and try to merge them if they're similar. So this helps with the issue. It doesn't fix it, but it definitely does help. And I'm going to explain now why this issue happens in the first place. So the way that Amverge cuts scenes is that it takes in the video file and it cuts it wherever an iframe or keyframe is encoded. And the reason that I decided on this design is that if you cut a video on a keyframe, it doesn't actually have to re-encode the entire cut portions again. So on imports, there's no re-encoding going on in the import. It's just seamless, clip in, cut keyframes, and then display it in the grid. So that is what makes it very fast. So the trade-off for the speed is that this doesn't actually have any scene detection algorithm. It's just cutting where keyframes are encoded into the video. In this case, what keyframes are is basically PNG images that are rendered throughout the video. And in between those images are like the in-between frames, the differences between the images. So that way the video is encoded faster, it's a smaller file size, and nowadays basically every video file has iframes and keyframes in it. These iframes and keyframes are normally rendered wherever there's a high difference in the frames, which normally happens on the scene changes. So whenever the scene changes, it's a huge difference. You know, the character changes, the background changes, sometimes even the color changes. So normally there's keyframes in the scene switches. So some videos, like in this case, are encoded very weirdly, where they have, you know, 3,100 keyframes encoded inside the video file. and then it's gonna cut it out all those keyframes, and a lot of duplicate scenes will be displayed on the grid. There's no real way to bypass this unless you find some different video source file. So usually I go to KO Anime because their renders are always consistent. All the video files, they always use the same render settings, MKV, same codec, same everything. So normally their keyframes are very consistent. Whereas if you go to a torrent site, it's a lot of different people publishing it, using different codecs, using different formats. So there's a much higher chance of it being rendered very weirdly and having a lot of keyframes encoded. So yeah, I would just suggest, going to koanime.com to get your episodes. Otherwise, you can fall back to other sources if it's not on. So I did run like 2 or 3 benchmarks on the scene just to check if the quality loss was a lot. There is no quality loss. If not, like it's very, very low and negligible. I don't think that it's anything that anyone should really be worried about. I would say just play around with the settings to see what works for you. The last thing, shout out to these guys in the credits section. They basically created all the features, or like 90% of the features for V1, like the export settings, the Discord rich presence, the menu revamp, the Mac support. So a lot of these things were made by other developers, and I was just kind of the person who merged it with the existing code and rewrote things to make it look more organized and more optimized. So yeah, and if you would like to contribute as well to the code base, the repo is always open, so feel free.